Sometimes life teaches a woman its greatest lesson through silence. No one tells you to leave, but everyone stops treating you the same. The people you value drift away. Those you cared for ignore you. And one morning you wake up. You realize nothing is broken, but everything has changed. At that moment you understand, it's no longer time to fight, but to choose yourself. This realization is harsh, it hurts, but it heals. Because that day you redefine not how others see you, but how you see yourself. A woman's strongest state begins when she no longer needs anyone's attention. You have given your youth, your energy, your heart countless times, but nothing that doesn't come back breaks you anymore. Because you have learned, value is not in attracting attention, but in being the one who pays attention. You now influence with your silence. You fill the space with your presence. At this point, beauty is read not from your face, but from your posture. And most interestingly, it is precisely when you no longer expect anyone to notice you that everyone's eyes are on you. Because when a woman chooses herself, she becomes visible. In today's video, we'll talk about the signs of that realization. If you write, "I choose myself now," in the comments below, it won't just be a sentence. It will become a promise a woman has made to herself for years. Because when you write that sentence, your subconscious says, it's over. You no longer lean on the love of others, but on your own power. If you're ready, let's begin. 1. Even if you don't look at anyone in the room you enter, attention turns to you. Sometimes you are noticed without doing anything, just by being there. You don't make eye contact. You don't try to attract attention. There are even moments when you wish you were invisible, but still, eyes turn to you. This is not a temporary effect created by makeup, clothing, or a smile. It has to do with energy. True attractiveness does not come from shouting, "I'm here," but from being felt without even saying, "I'm already here." Some women get their light from outside, others glow from within. You are in the second group. This attention can sometimes even feel uncomfortable, because even though you don't seek attention, people find something in your presence: peace, curiosity, even threat. They can't quite understand what's different about you, but they gravitate toward you without realizing it. It's not about your appearance, it's about your attitude. There is a sovereignty even in your calmness. You carry your femininity without shouting it. That's why you say something even when you don't speak. The secret to this power is not self-confidence, but self-awareness. You have realized that you no longer need the approval of others. Life has hurt you, but it has also polished you. That's why your stance is not soft, but refined. It is not judgmental, but assertive. People confuse this energy. Some admire you, some shy away from you. Because while they are still seeking approval, you stand firm in your own center. True attractiveness is filling the space without making a sound. It is not body language, it is a state of consciousness. Even if you don't look at anyone in the environment you enter, if that environment notices you, it is the echo of the silent power within you. The Stoics called this eudaimonia, the soul being in its own order. When a woman finds herself, the outside world begins to revolve around her. Most people look for attractiveness in external details, facial features, clothing, or age. But this perspective doesn't understand you, because what is attractive about you is not your appearance, but your serenity. You no longer ask, "How do I look?" but "How do I feel?" This difference makes you instantly noticeable in a crowd, because while everyone else is trying to attract attention, you shine without even trying. And remember, attracting attention is not a goal, but a result. When you simply remain yourself, people watch you, because they remember something they haven't lost in you: inner balance, grace, and true feminine power. At that moment, It's no coincidence that all eyes are on you, even though you're not looking at anyone. It's the echo of your presence. By the way, if you like the video and subscribe to our channel, you'll be supporting me in the most effective way. 2. Women look up to you deep down, even when they talk to you. If a woman looks up to another woman deep down, there is something about that woman, something that cannot be bought, imitated, or copied. Maybe it's her posture, maybe her way of speaking, maybe just her calmness. There is a sense of liberation in your energy. They feel it, but they can't put their finger on it, because you no longer try to be like anyone else. There has been a turning point in your life. You have paid the price of being yourself, and now you carry the grace of that price. When women listen to you, sometimes they smile, sometimes they fall silent, sometimes their eyes sparkle for a moment, because they find what they are looking for in you, the energy of a free woman. But this freedom comes not through rebellion, but through awareness. Because you no longer try to please anyone, you begin to carry a natural authority. That's why women don't imitate you, they learn from you. And this is the most noble form of attractiveness, inspiring admiration, not envy in other women. But this respect is not easily won. Behind your grace lie years of silence, hurt, and tears. The day you stop trying to change people, you begin to transform yourself. Women sense this because we all understand energy better than words. They see an unbroken woman in your face. Yes, she is worn, but not finished. She is broken, but not shattered. And this image captivates them. From a Stoic perspective, this is not being taken as an example, but a reflection. They see their own potential in you. Your calmness touches the chaos within them. Your slowness softens their impatience. Because you no longer live fast, you live deeply, and when people look into depth, they are both fascinated and frightened. Women are both peaceful and alert around you because you have learned to manage your energy. True attractiveness comes not from putting others down, but from reminding them to rise up. The women around you don't diminish in your presence. They grow without realizing it, because you remind them not of how to be more beautiful, but of how to be more whole. It's no longer outward appearance that speaks, but inner poise. That's why no one imitates you. They just quietly respect you. And perhaps the most impressive part is this: you walk not to be an example, but to be free. Yet that freedom becomes a path for others. Women know this, because in your silence there is a lesson. In your grace there is strength. In your presence there is a compass. They don't want to be like you, but they want to feel like you. That's when they understand what true attractiveness is. 3. Your smile is understated but sincere and unforgettable. Some women light up the room when they smile, but your smile is different. It is quiet, deep, and leaves an impression. You neither laugh out loud nor contort your face, yet everyone who witnesses that moment feels something shift within them. Because your smile is unmasked. They wonder how a smile that has known pain can be so elegant. Yet your smile is the celebration of a spirit that has survived battles. Despite the hardships, it still radiates an inner light. Your smile is not flirtation, it is awareness. Beneath that smile lies a past, a loss, an acceptance. People sense this, but cannot explain it. Your smile is not an invitation, it is a stance. That is why it attracts attention but never cheapens, because that smile was born at the point where there was no longer any need to prove anything to anyone. When a woman smiles not at the world, but at herself, that is when she is truly beautiful. There is a challenge in your smile, but a gentle challenge. It's like saying, "You broke me, but you didn't finish me." That's why people can't forget your smile for a long time, because that smile carries the trace of a moment of rebirth that no one else can see. It's understated, but it shakes the soul deeply. Where womanhood matures, the smile is no longer a weapon, but a form of grace. From a Stoic perspective, the source of this smile is not happiness, but acceptance. Stoics sought the good life, not in the absence of pain, but in meaning. Your smile expresses precisely this. It is the outward expression of a spirit that has accepted that it cannot control everything, yet has chosen to remain graceful nonetheless. That is why your smile does not convey beauty, but wisdom. When people see you, they think they are happy. In fact, they hear the echo of an inner peace. This smile is a charm that no makeup, no aesthetics, no words can imitate. Because this smile is born not in a body, but in a soul. You don't stage it, you don't plan it, you just live it. That's why it remains the same at every age, because its source is not time, but awareness. Your smile is the signature of a woman who has transcended all the judgments of the world. And perhaps that's why, even if one day people forget you, they will remember that smile. Because it is not a symbol of an expression, but of a being. When you smile, time slows down, because in that moment, the universe watches the peace radiating from a woman's heart. That's why your smile seems small, but creates a big echo. It is silent, but it is heard forever. 4. Even if your outfit isn't perfect, your posture makes you look elegant. A woman doesn't have to dress perfectly to look elegant, because elegance is a line carried by the soul, not the fabric. Of course, beautiful clothes and careful choices make a difference, but what really creates the impact is not the outfit, but the attitude of the woman inside the body. Posture is more lasting than fashion, and that's where your unnoticed power lies, because you know how to carry yourself. Sometimes your outfit is simple, sometimes ordinary, but people still can't take their eyes off you. Because when you walk, it's not your body that moves, it's your character. That quiet confidence spreads around you like an expensive perfume. Most women show off too much to attract attention, but your elegance, on the contrary, affects by remaining hidden. That's why someone watching you will say, "There's something about her," without being able to explain why. That something is your peace with yourself. This peace is a discipline learned over the years. You no longer prepare to seek approval, but to remember your own worth. You wear attitude, not accessories, because you know that even the most expensive outfit cannot hide bad energy. But inner peace makes even a simple dress look elegant. Your elegance is based on awareness, not fashion. This is the most elegant way to be a woman, to be less is more, but still unforgettable. As the Stoics taught, it is not external circumstances, but our inner attitude that determines our value. Your posture reflects this. You express who you are with your body, your gaze, your walk. You neither rush nor tense up, you simply are. People learn balance from you without even realizing it, because your energy doesn't shout. It quietly establishes order when you enter a room. That's why your elegance never goes out of style. And you know what? True style comes not from expensive clothes, but from an awareness that has cost dearly. Your elegance is the work of years. It's no longer what you wear, but the spirit you carry that makes the difference. When people remember you, it's not your dress that comes to mind, but that powerful calmness. This is the real appeal, the impact that comes not from appearance, but from being. Perhaps that's why every point I'll share in the rest of this video will delve deeper into the layers of that invisible elegance. Because what truly makes you stand out is something no one can copy, your posture. So don't go anywhere. Each point will bring you a little closer to the center of that confidence. 5. How taking pride in your age makes you more impressive. Society has always taught women to stay young, but never to stay strong. You are one of the women who recognized that lie. because at some point you understood that beauty deepens with awareness, not age. Every line you see in the mirror is not a mark of defeat, but of victory. With each passing year, you've become a little simpler, a little more noble. You no longer carry your youth, but yourself. That's why you have a certain weight wherever you go. That weight is respect. Being proud of your age is not arrogance. It is a woman respecting her own history. Because your age is not a number, it is a story. That story has breaks, turns, and acceptances. People sense this maturity. Young women say, "I wish I could be as peaceful as her." Men wonder, "Why is she so attractive?" The answer is simple. You have stopped fighting with yourself. And this peace gives your face more light than the best makeup. As you age, you realize that what you thought you were losing was actually just a shell. You used to worry about attracting attention, but now you are influential without even trying. Because you have learned that a woman's charm is not owed to time, but to the weight of the life she has lived. That is why your age does not diminish you. It enhances your maturity. Even the lines around your eyes are badges of honor now. You have loved, you have lost, but you still stand tall. The Stoics said that time is not an enemy, but a teacher. You have learned this lesson. The passing years no longer frighten you, because each one has shaped your character. Youth is fleeting, but wisdom is deep. This is where your charm comes from. Balance has replaced speed. Even your silence carries meaning now, because your past is filled with rich years, not empty ones. And that's why trying to hide your age now seems petty to you. Because you have nothing to hide, only a wealth to show. Your beauty is no longer an ornament, but a form of silence. People notice this instantly but cannot explain it, because you possess an elegance that time cannot defeat. When admiration is felt not for a woman's age, but for her attitude, that is when true beauty is achieved. You have achieved this. Time has taken nothing from you. On the contrary, it has made you timeless. And now, every time you look in the mirror, you see this. It is not age, but depth that makes you beautiful. 6. Knowing your worth without needing anyone's approval. Once upon a time, you changed shape to be loved. You kept quiet to be approved. You gave to be valued. But one day you realized your worth does not increase with their perception. It is born with your own realization. That moment was a revolution within you, no longer needing anyone's attention, praise, or messages. You grew silently. And now when someone loses you, nothing is missing, because you found yourself. Seeking approval was a habit, but also a chain. Breaking that chain hurt a little, because for years you had lived according to external voices. But now you know that silence is sometimes the loudest freedom. You no longer need someone to say, "I'm proud of you," because you have already returned to where you deserve to be in your own eyes. This is the greatest power a woman can have. Now, when someone dislikes you, you don't look for flaws in yourself, because your beauty is based on your own self-respect, not on someone else's perception. Before, you felt complete when you were loved. Now, you feel complete when you love yourself. This difference seems small, but it changes the world. You no longer say, "I'm good enough" to anyone, because you no longer need that sentence. For a woman to preserve her value is to preserve her inner balance. She neither gives too much nor takes too little. This balance comes from within, not from outside. There is no approval to be taken from you anymore, because you are your own judge, your own witness. And this freedom shines with a determination reflected on your face. That's why people take your energy seriously, because you carry the vibration of a woman who believes in her own worth. True self-worth begins when you are no longer afraid of being alone, because at that point you are no longer alone. You are with yourself. Seeking approval does not fill the void, but self-respect makes even silence meaningful. Even in your silence you say, "I am here." This is the simplest yet most powerful statement in the world, and that's why, even when others misunderstand you, you remain unshaken, because you no longer need to explain yourself. You live not to be understood, but to be whole. This is more than self-confidence. It is the peace of knowing yourself. And this peace is far more attractive than external beauty, because no gaze can fake such genuine confidence. 7. Carry yourself as if you have a secret that no one else knows. Sometimes a woman's charm lies not in what she says, but in what she keeps hidden. When people see you, an inexplicable curiosity awakens within them, because you have an energy that doesn't reveal everything. You don't talk much, you don't laugh much, but your presence leaves an echo in the room. Everyone wants to figure you out, but they can only get so close, because you are now so deep inside yourself that no one else can reach you. Once upon a time, you tried to explain yourself. You made excuses. You were misunderstood. Then one day you fell silent, and that silence made you mysterious, because you realized you didn't need to explain yourself. You needed to protect yourself. When people started to wonder, you knew you were doing something right. Because visibility cheapens, mystery adds value. If you can make an impact without speaking, that's when beauty becomes not an identity, but a state of being. The source of your mystery isn't a fake game, it's the weight of your past. Because you don't tell everyone what you've been through, there's an inexplicable depth in your face. Your eyes hide both a wound and a secret. People can't make sense of it, but they are affected by it. Because very few people in the world can maintain their silence anymore. You have achieved this, and this has transformed you from an ordinary woman into a memorable one. A woman's secret lies not in what she says, but in what she keeps hidden. This is not a strategy, it is maturity. Because now you know, not everyone has to understand you. This awareness brings you not mystery, but peace. Your unknown is not frightening, it is captivating, because that mystery is carried by the silence of a woman who knows herself. The purest form of beauty is being noticeable even without being fully seen. You do this. Now there is a story in your eyes, but it remains untold. This creates an atmosphere that penetrates people, because the mysterious woman is secretive not to attract attention, but to protect herself. But that protection turns into a spell when viewed from the outside. And perhaps the most beautiful thing, no one knows what that secret is, but everyone wants to feel it, because you smell of both the past and the future, both experience and hope. You will see in the other signs I will share in the rest of this video. This mystery is not just a stance, it is the most fascinating form of defense of womanhood. Stay tuned, because in the next episode, I will show you how this silent power turns into magic. 8. Time polishing you instead of wearing you down. Time wears most people down, but it has matured you, because you didn't forget everything you've lived through. You didn't suppress the pain, you transformed it. People sometimes ask, how can you still be so calm? Yet they don't know what storms have been silenced behind that calm. You no longer want to argue or compete, because you no longer need to share your inner balance with anyone. This is a kind of freedom that comes with age, silent but unshakable. It's no coincidence that the things that once broke you now polish you. Every wound left a mark on you, but that mark made you more beautiful. The things you once thought you lost have now become pieces that complete you. The gaps in your life no longer diminish you. On the contrary, they deepen your story. Because you are no longer aging, you are maturing. A woman's most beautiful state is when she knows her fragility, yet remains strong. You are at that point. You no longer resent your past. You thank it. Because it shaped you. It didn't wear you down. It gave you form. And today, the people around you sense this difference in you. You have the energy of a woman who has been through hard times but has not lost her grace. This cannot be achieved with any makeup or fake smile. Time hasn't worn you down because you resisted it. But your resistance wasn't anger, it was awareness. Over the years, instead of asking, "Why me?" you said, "I'll get through this too." And with each stage, you became a little simpler. Now it's not showiness that interests you, but peace. Because you know that what lasts is not attention, but depth. That's why you've become more visible, more impressive as you've aged. Many people become dull as the years pass, but your light has grown sharper. Because with age, you've begun to approach your true self. You no longer allow others to define you. You are understood without having to explain yourself. This is a quiet authority that comes with the years. Your beauty shines not on your face, but in the steadiness of your spirit. And most strikingly, you no longer race against time. You have become friends with it, because you know that time doesn't need to wear you down. It polishes the right woman. You are that woman. Each year you have become a little smoother, a little clearer, a little more yourself. Now you shine, but not to show anyone, simply because your light can no longer be dimmed. 9. When you look in the mirror, you no longer see flaws, you see a story. Once, when you looked in the mirror, you only saw things you needed to fix. A few lines, a trace of fatigue, a flaw. Over time, you realize that those lines don't diminish you. They tell your story. Now in that mirror, you see not your youth, but your journey. Every wrinkle is a turning point, every trace a lesson. And most importantly, when you look in the mirror now, you respect not yourself, but your past. Because that face isn't just yours, it's a witness to every state that brought you to today. Mirrors used to judge you. Now they smile silently, because you stopped fighting. You no longer want to preserve beauty, but to give it meaning. You know who left, who stayed, and who you forgave behind that face. And that knowledge simplifies you. You no longer carry your beauty with a mask, but with surrender. This is not acceptance, it is completion. You no longer see a face in the mirror, but a story. With every glance you say to yourself, "I am here." Because behind those eyes is a woman who was once broken, but has been reborn. You used to want to look young. Now you want to look meaningful. This difference has allowed you to see the world, not the world to see you. There is no judgment now, only compassion, even for yourself. A woman's beauty changes not with time, but with her gaze. In your eyes, there is no longer fear, but acceptance. The lines in the mirror are no longer enemies, but a language that belongs to you. They don't make you old, they make you real. Because life has filtered you, and only the essence remains. It's no longer your face that speaks, but your being. People may not understand it, but they feel it. Beauty isn't in the mirror, it's in how you look at that mirror. You no longer say, "Why have I changed?" You say, "How have I grown?" Because change didn't diminish you, it matured you. You used to criticize yourself when you looked in the mirror, now you thank yourself. Because that face is the most honest witness of a woman who never gave up. And best of all, you no longer need anyone to like you. Because the woman you see in that mirror deserves much more than approval. She deserves respect. It's not your flaws, it's your story that makes you beautiful. And the moment you realize this, the woman in the mirror smiles genuinely for the first time. 10. Your ability to stand alone even in a crowd becoming a stance. You used to fear being alone in a crowd. Because your solitude is not a deficiency but a state of balance, people are no longer affected by those who come to you, but by the silence that emanates from you. Your stance is a symbol of being able to exist without needing anyone else. And while this may appear to be loneliness from the outside, It is actually a state of superiority. It took you years to understand the difference between being together and being whole. Now you know crowds are sometimes the loudest form of loneliness, but your loneliness is simple, calm, and meaningful, because you are no longer chasing empty spaces that cannot be filled. You are no longer waiting for someone to complete you or a crowd to validate you. You are now the master of your own space. That's why your loneliness no longer frightens you, it serves you. When people see you standing alone in a crowd, they mistake it for distance. Yet that distance is not a boundary, but a line of respect. You are no longer open to everyone because you have learned that you cannot carry everyone's energy. This is not harsh, but a conscious choice. Standing alone in a crowd is not wanting anyone. It is not losing yourself. And this is the most noble lesson a woman can learn. True power is being able to maintain inner peace even in the midst of noise. Your stance says it all. Even if you don't speak, you are saying something. Because your presence is balanced, your energy is simple, your face is determined. Even if the crowd changes direction, your compass doesn't change. That's why people are influenced by you, because you have a center that doesn't belong to anyone else. Being able to stand alone is managing your own energy. Silence is no longer a burden to you. It creates space. In that space you can breathe, gather your thoughts, and best of all, in that silence, you hear yourself. Because you are now at peace with your inner voice. This is the simplest form of peace. Crowds are temporary, but that inner tranquility is permanent. And today, even your solitude has become an aesthetic, because you now have a woman's I am complete state. This state is neither arrogant nor fragile, just free. Even if crowds surround you, you no longer lose yourself, because you know that true elegance is sometimes being able to stand alone, and you achieve this silently but flawlessly. At a certain point, beauty is noticed not in the mirror, but in silence. Everything you've noticed throughout this video actually points to one thing: returning to yourself. Because true attractiveness begins where you no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. You haven't changed, you've just let go of the noise, and your essence has become visible. And perhaps that's why you're now noticed without having to draw attention to yourself. Age, lines, silence, even loneliness. None of them diminished you. They shaped you. A woman is most compelling when she knows herself. You no longer need to tell someone, "I'm beautiful too," because you've already turned that sentence into a way of life. Time didn't wear you down. It chose to polish you, and this shine cannot be achieved with light or makeup because it burns from within. So don't belittle the woman you see when you look in the mirror today. She is a woman who has weathered storms without losing her grace. You no longer need others to notice you, because you have already noticed yourself. And it is precisely in that moment of awareness that you become the most powerful woman in the world. The woman who loves herself quietly, but whose presence changes everything. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care of yourself and see you in the next video. Remember, a woman is someone who has the power to change the world. Bravely forge your own path and enjoy every moment.